I'm Ann Abernethy, and this is Beyond Badass, How Fierce Women Get It Done. As a real estate broker here in Aspen, Colorado, I've had the good fortune to meet so many impressive and inspiring women, and I just thought their stories should be heard. The goal here is for all of us to learn together. Welcome to Beyond Badass, the podcast. I've got a great guest today. But before we get to that, if you're thinking about selling your house and you want to be really badass about it, where do you begin? How about right here? This is today's Fast Fix. Today's Fast Fix is create calm. I mean like kind of calm. That's really important in the bedrooms. You want to create a romantic atmosphere. So make sure that your bedding is very attractive. It looks new, it looks clean and rich. And make sure that the pillows are lined up properly, not just thrown on the bed. If you don't have great new linens, you can get them online. It's easy to do and they're not really that expensive, and it makes a huge difference. The other thing is lighting. So you want light in the room. Better to do lamps than an overhead light that's not on a dimmer. If it's on a dimmer, that's okay. You can pull it down. And the last thing I'll suggest is a lot of brokers will say music. I don't like music. I think buyers get nervous when music's in a room. They think that something's being covered up. I just let the quiet speak. So create calm. That's today's Fast Fix.
I'm very excited about today's guest at Beyond Badass, How Fierce Women Get It Done. My dear friend, Kristina Hurrell, is here, and she has quite the story. This woman has navigated the world, literally, and she's taken corporate executives on spa-fari retreats, and she's found her way through the Sahara Desert as a very young model, and has written a book, and the book is called An Adventure in Faith. It's called Captivated, and that is Kristina on the front cover, which is a beautiful picture of her as a model with all kinds of Christian Dior and Louis Vuitton and everything. So Kristina, welcome to Beyond Badass. You are definitely that after reading this book.
I think I am. Yes.
I think you are too.
Oh.
This is quite amazing. I was very privileged that you gave me an advanced copy of this book, and it's a page turner.
Yes, it is.
It's really good.
Yes.
So what made the decision for you to even write this?
You know, all these years later, it happened to me, and I put it on the back burner of my life. And
you're like 20, right? 20 years old.
20. And I wanted to move on because I was sort of embarrassed that I did such a stupid thing at the time.
Well, let's tell the audience what that was.
Well, oh gosh. I was invited to join some friends to go to this wonderful resort on the edge of the Sahara Desert, and while we were there, a Bedouin tribe came to dance for us, and their very dashing sheikh noticed my camera and invited me.
A dashing sheikh? That's
well, with very twinkly eyes.
I think of Omar Sharif.
Right, very much. So anyway, he invited me to photograph his tribe and travel with them. Well, I started off being a model. I was discovered in London by David Bailey, who was a well-known photographer. And then I really wanted to be a photographer. That was more important to me. So I thought, well, I can go off with them and take pictures, and National Geographic will accept my pictures. So that's why I did it, naively thinking it was risky, but I wanted to go. So there I was, following the tribe into the Sahara, dressed like Lawrence of Arabia.
And you said you went in almost disguise, right?
Right. Well,
I had blonde hair.
Yes.
5'11", 5'10", something like that.
Yes.
You're pretty obvious. You like stand out in a crowd. 20 years old, kind of a supermodel in Paris, modeling in Paris, no less. So it was your choice to dress in disguise as a man?
Well, no, the thing is, I had no clothing to sit on a camel with me. I just packed little skimpy things to go on this trip. So I went to a souk, and there I was, flipping through all the clothing, and The male Bedouin clothing fit me better. It was a bit longer, it sort of fit me. The sleeves were longer. I could hide my skin from the sun. So I did look like Lawrence of Arabia. The keffiyeh headdress, the jalaba robe, the serval pants, my little thin sandals. There I was sitting on the camel. But the tribe considered me an interloper.
I'll bet.
And they didn't want me there. They couldn't. Who is this person with blonde, because bits of hair would stick out, little bits, and blue eyes.
Excuse me, I've got Colorado allergies this morning, and I know you get them too.
I do.
We hike. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is just live TV. So go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, they wouldn't take my camera. They would dash away, like what is this? And they'd go away. They were mean in their eyes at me, except for 3 ladies that were very nice. But anyway, long and short is I kept going because he kept saying to me, I promise you can take pictures when they get used to you. Climb a palm tree.
Come on.
Yes. And he said, when we get up to our destination, you can take these pictures. Well, I knew it was wise to turn around and come back. I really did. Yes, I did. But he kept on insisting.
So did you go? Did you go the whole way?
I did.
And
stupid me.
Did you climb the palm tree?
I did. Scratched and all. Everybody was clapping and cheering. And I thought that they would let me take their pictures. And it was... But they didn't, mostly. So I was snatching a few inside the tent. I mean, I did snatch a few. Yeah.
What was the living condition like, and over what period of time did this take to get to where you were going?
It was so long ago that I know it was over a month, way over a month.
A month.
Because he kept saying, every day we're moving to a different camp, into the depths of the Sahara. I mean, really.
Were you just terrified?
Well, I have to say, honestly, part of me always loves to tune into the heart of humanity. And there were some ladies that were very sweet, and they would smile at me, and I wanted to have fun with the children, and I just wanted to connect with them. And just because on other travels with Dior, I had done this, and the people around the world were very sweet.
Right.
And I thought, I just want this to happen before I go back. This is an opportunity.
Right.
And finally I sang for the children. You are my sunshine.
Oh, how funny.
I did.
And did that work?
Yes. The children sang. They were skipping around me. I mean, this children with bare feet. The hot sand.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you imagine it scratching their eyes and everything? However, they still would scamper when I wanted to take their pictures. They didn't. I don't know whether they thought I was taking their soul or something, but they didn't really.
Well, they just probably didn't understand the technology, and they were fearful.
Right. So finally we got to the Sheikh's father's camp. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I realized there was a reason to keep insisting I should go.
Why was that?
He told me that I needed to save the tribe.
What the
heck does that mean? What does that mean? And the old sheikh was over 100 years old, and he had a system for longevity. Nobody in the entire world has ever experienced what I did. So this is an incredible thing, to read my book and see this very strange, weird thing.
So during this strange, weird, what was it, a ritual?
Yes, a ritual that he had discovered from actually a younger age, I guess, that if he did this, his immune system would boost up, and he'd go and do it. But finally, he was way, way, way over 100 years old. Nobody would go with him into the Sahara, and they insisted. Now, let me tell you, I wasn't being touched. I wasn't being they weren't hurting me. No, so I had to take off with the old man into the Sahara. Now, let me say this. What's incredible for me is that I thought, what am I going to do? The only hope I have is God. The only hope.
Well, you're out there by yourself.
Yes.
You are on your own here.
I prayed for protection. Now, years ago I'd gone to Sunday school, and I thought, well, this is my only hope.
You're a proper English daughter.
Right. And I did, and I prayed, and I was protected, and anyway, it got worse and worse and worse. It was so scary. And finally I had to flee.
How did you do that?
Well, my camera was confiscated. This is the young sheikh who really, he did say, look, I want you to be my woman. Mm. Oh, of course he had other women, but he right. made it.
Just line like up.
Top dog woman. So he ended up stealing my compass that my father had given me just before he died, my camera, my film, everything, the whole thing that I was there for. And I had to flee across the desert.
So how did you do that? You can't just take off on foot and go across the Sahara Desert.
No, well, I had this camel called Saluk, which was the sweetest thing.
You know, a camel.
Yeah, well, the camel was, right. I had the camel to start with.
Right.
And she was always with me, and she was, honestly, she was like a little dog. I mean, she loved me. You could see she would look at me in these sweet eyes. And I said to Badu, the guy that I had hired from the hotel to come with me as a guard, but he was impossible. I mean, he's squinty and, he wasn't very good. But I had somebody to go with. So we fled across the Sahara. Now, meanwhile, and I started to feel really sick. Really sick. And I realized I had something terrible. And unfortunately, he had all these skins, the camel they're skins of water. He left them on the sand, and they percolated out. So here we are. I had no idea where I was. No idea. And I'm thinking, I can only rely on the stars. And he'd taken my compass, so I had a camel stick that I put in the sand looking at east and west shadows to try to get north.
Well, that was smart.
Yeah. Had to go north. And just things that my father back in the day had taught me about adventuring, things to do,
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So there we were. I mean, I had dehydration. There was danger around every rock. I realized that you couldn't even see it until it leaped on you. There was just ridiculous things. And I had to keep going. Now, Anne, honestly, what's incredible is here we live up in the mountains of Colorado. And my birthday's in August, and we have the Perseid meteor showers in August. Every August,
right?
If it's clear,
you can see
sit
that.
Out. Because one night, I was walking because you walk. The camel walks at night. You try to sleep in the day. It's really, really hot in the day, so you got the little tent. There I was, walking with the camel at night. I'm laying back. I put my legs across the saddle. And the horn and his neck, and I lay back on my camel, on my roll, sleeping back, a roll, and looked up at the stars, and I heard music. Now, when the wind blows the sand, it does make strange sounds. And it was
that makes sense.
And then I said to God, please, God, please direct me back. Let me know which way to go. Please save me, save me, save me. And suddenly all these meteor showers went over my head.
Wow.
To north. I mean, honestly, that's really why after all these years, I decided that I really would write the story.
Well, it changed that moment.
Yes.
Changed the trajectory of your whole life,
didn't it?
Well, I mean, from what I gather in the book.
Yes, it did, Anne, it did. I mean, from then on, honestly, I have taken groups around the world to all kinds of incredible places, even Africa. And I've said, I really feel that all the carnivores are sleeping. We can walk from one camp to another. No one had ever done that.
No.
And everybody said, I trust you. I really trust you. We will do that. And we did. All the carnivores were sleeping. Herbivores only were walking.
In Africa you're talking about now. Yeah. And you did it at night.
No, in the day.
Oh, in the day.
Yeah,
and then at night.
They sleep at night. Mm-hmm. I mean, the animals are eating other animals at night. They're hunting. So, but it's been incredible. I mean, honestly, God says to me, I've got you protected even if I'm in Southeast Asia, Myanmar years ago. And there was a cobra on the side of the trail, and he slithered away. Just all kinds of amazing things have happened, and I said to God, you've showed up in my life so strongly. I said, you're the CEO of me, my business, everything, my relationships. And he has been, and it's been the most incredible thing.
You know, it's interesting because are you religious?
No.
You're spiritual.
Yes.
There's a difference.
I have a strong faith. It's strong faith.
And why not religious? Because I think, weren't you raised in a
No.
church?
I am
in
Christian.
England?
I do believe in Christ.
Right.
So I often say my prayers. I bind, rebuke, and cast away whatever is not right in the name of Jesus. So that's my plug-in to. Yes, I do. That's my faith, but it's not religion.
Right.
It's not religion. It's just strong faith.
Back in what was the name of the place in which you were raised in England?
Windsor.
Oh, you were raised in Windsor. Oh, well, isn't that where Windsor Castle is?
Just outside of Windsor, on the River Thames, yeah.
And so did you go to church with your family?
I went to Sunday school, yes, I did.
Went to Sunday, was it a Catholic church? A Protestant church?
No, it was Church of England.
Church. Oh, it's Church of England, of course.
And I have to say, really, at the age of 7, we're walking in the moors with Mum and Dad, the dog romping around, and I really felt... I had just been at the Sunday. I felt the presence of Christ, and I said, "Well, are you walking with me? Am I walking with you?" He said, "Yes, you are, and I will always be walking with you." So that's been a very strong. But even on my trips, I'm very discerning with people. You know, when they say they're discerning about even saying anything, because they're here to have an adventure, but. There's been a lot of editors that have said, these are trips that will change your life. And I say to people, what do you have to lose? Open your heart and let God in. It's about your faith. It's about believing. It's about not going into the sludge of life and worrying about everything. Have faith. Be bold.
But if somebody is not inclined to do that.
Yeah.
That's okay with you, right?
Of course. They do what they do. Everybody has choice.
Right.
But, for me, it's like I feel directed, protected, inspired, and that's just a beautiful thing. Of course, mostly it's going out into the wilderness, into God's artwork of nature, loving the peacefulness of this, but I don't want to get involved in all this stressful yuckety-yuck that's going on right now.
Right.
No. It's just a peace.
When you... Spafari is the name of your business.
Yes.
And that you've led these trips for...
many years.
Decades, right?
Yeah.
And the people, you've had lots of repeat.
Yes.
What do you call them, clients?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Friends.
Yeah. You call them friends now.
Friends and clients. I've met them. Some have been with me all over the world.
Like places like where?
Oh, my gosh. Africa, India, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Peru. I mean, Lake Como, Italy is one of my favorites. I love that. We stay in Bellagio. We take a boat ride every day, hike Pre-Alps, Alps, and Dolomites. And, the whole thing, the core of the experience is hiking.
Oh, I know. And you and I are big hikers. We love to hike.
Yes,
and
we
do. It's one of the perks of living in Colorado. We have the most glorious hikes here, and they're accessible, and they're not crowded if you know the places to go.
Sure.
Throughout all of that, as you developed this business and you grew in it and with it, what kinds of things did you learn along the way about people?
Well, everybody's got some baggage they drag along with them, and I tune into the negative self-talk that they have. Oh, my back always hurt. This goes. I said, no. I said, you're your own mechanic. Tune in to what you need to eat and drink. Lots of water. The morning green drinks before any coffee. Just be the best you can be. It's about saying yes to your precious life and being the best you can be. And I'm going to give you lots of, I'll give them all kinds of ideas about what to do for different parts. And it's I always say, you're like a wagon wheel. In a way, think of your wagon wheel. You're the hub of in the center. That's your soul, your spirit. Then you've got all these spokes. spiritual life, your self-image, your health, your relationships, your social life, your financial life, all of that. But just be the best you can be. Don't hone on one section of it. Just, I always say to people too, when you really have peace in your heart and soul, you'll glow. It's a glow that comes out of you. You will shine with peace.
It's like being in the zone.
Right.
And life balance.
Yes.
A lot of these incredible women, as you are, it's amazing how similar their experience has been, and in terms of their morning routine and their challenges. So the morning routine is almost identical. People do the same things.
Yes.
Everybody exercises, at least, the fabulous beyond badass women that have been here.
Yes.
Everybody exercises. Everybody takes care of their health. Everybody's conscious of that first.
Yes.
And then the challenge, we've heard similarly on the flip side of that, is work-life balance. That everybody's trying to find equilibrium in their lives.
Yes.
And that's our limiting beliefs, I think, keep us from doing that sometimes. And you mentioned that, Kristina. You said that get rid of the negative stuff that's out, that my back or my this or my that. And it's amazing how much we talk about that as people, especially as you're aging. If you go to a cocktail party, people are talking about their backs, their knees, their shoulders, their doctors, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure you've heard from your clients. I mean, really, there are a lot of excuses. Is that not right?
Well, there are. Everybody's got their little story.
Tell the story about the makeup. The hiking and the makeup that you told me that all these women they would show up.
Oh gosh, I mean, I had a group in Lake Como, and every day they would take so long. We'd have with the boat to take us to certain parts of the lake, and I think, where are they? It's 45 minutes later. They haven't, and I mean, you could scrape it off. They had so much, all these false eyelashes, and some of them just had, whatever's up there and this and that. But I said, this is not about that.
And jewelry.
And jewelry. Oh, yeah. And everything was matching, every day. So I said, just be here. Experience the experience, please. Just experience the experience. And what I love to have, as you well know, I have this wonderful room. It's my meditation, yoga room, prayer room, writing room. It's with big windows that looks out to the mountain. I love that space, and it just almost calls me into it. And the dog loves it. She's her favorite place to sit.
Well, it's a fantastic space, a beautiful view, and you use it as your
tuning in to
sanctuary.
Tune in and sanctuary. Yes, yes. So anyway, I just think when we're really tuned in, we hear what we need to do.
Oh, that's interesting.
If it's a cleanse for 3 to 5 whatever days, be quiet, put on some beautiful music instead of listening to the news first thing in the morning. Sit outside, make the most of every season.
Well, that's really key. And I think we're moms.
Yes.
We both have children,
yes.
grown children. Well, you've even got grandchildren.
Yes.
I don't have grandchildren yet, but I am very conscious of observing them and their engagement with social media.
Oh, yes.
My son could care less. He's a guy. He's got many other interests in his career and that sort of thing. My daughter doesn't overuse it, and she does use it as it was intended, to connect.
Yes.
But I see that sometimes I say that the more we are connected digitally,
yes,
electronically,
yes,
the more disconnected we really become.
Right.
Because you're not tuned into now. And I notice if I'm out and I'm doing something, if I'm on a great hike, I don't want to stop and take pictures that I'm going to post later on that hike, because you miss it.
Right.
If there's a new baby born and you're taking pictures the whole time, you miss that.
So true.
Because there's a barrier
Yeah.
between you, your phone is between
Yes.
you and the right now
Yes.
experience.
Sure. And you know what I love to do, really, is every evening when I go to bed, is I look at all the gratitudes I have. Thank you, God, for this, for I mean, just incredible things that have happened that wouldn't have happened. You know, like my husband had to have a new office, and I'm on a hike up the hill, and a guy comes loping down, and our two dogs start playing, and he says, "Oh, I heard, you know, how are you? You Krakowitz's wife?" Yes. "How is he?" I said, "Well, he doesn't need a new office." He said, "That's incredible. I just heard about this new space." Just right then, had I not have gone on that hike that moment, he wouldn't have told me, and Rob's in a new office. So things like, you know, just amazing things.
Things that show up.
Yes.
And they're not, you know, a lot of people say there are no accidents. It's interesting that things like that can happen, and we let it happen, and it washes over us, and we forget it.
Yeah.
But that practice of gratitude daily, whether it's morning or evening, acknowledges that little thing happened.
Yes.
And it changed things for you.
Yes.
Interesting. It's and you know, maybe just the act of offering the gratitude is what tunes you in to those things that happen, and maybe you attract it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I think paying attention to it is better than not.
For sure. No question. No, I really do believe that, again, there is some guidance. And listen to something that you shouldn't do. No, tune in and feel it. Not just hearing words, but just, I always say this to people too, you know, if you don't feel really healthy, you know, you've just slugged up, during COVID time, a lot of people were eating a lot and munching a lot. I said, you know, go to a good grocery store and stand there in front of all the vegetables and things, and often your heart will open. Yeah, this is what I need, red beets or Brussels sprouts, or, yeah, I really need that. And it's the body is needing those certain minerals and things, and do it.
And just do it. Well, I think so. And I think it is a consciousness that we are very health conscious in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
There are places in the United States that are certainly not that way. And it's so easy, even though we're surrounded by it, thankfully, here, and we have access to really great farm-to-market things, vegetables and things to eat. It's amazing how, even in our own busy lives, we can let that go. You know, you have to, I always say I have to get back to true north.
Yeah, that's good.
I have to get back to true north. True north is when I always start with exercise. Once you launch into that pattern of exercise, then you want to do the other things, right? You don't want to mess it up.
Well, it's true, but I always say, or to myself and everybody else that I'm clients, you've got to suit up to know, have a reference point to how good is. Go through whatever it takes so you really know what good is, when you feel cleansed, stretched, peaceful, everything is good with your relationships, just everything, you know, just, all right, I have a reference point to that now. I know if I'm out of it, I've stepped out of it, I'm going to get back to that. What does it take to get back to that? See, that's an important thing too. So people become their own mechanic.
I love that description. That's a really great characterization. It makes you personally responsible.
Yes, it does.
Right? You don't blame. You're not going to blame your job or your boss or your...
No. But you see, if you're walking I love to say, walk with strength and purpose. Stride with strength and purpose. No, don't become like this little floppy person that's not quite sure, that always wants to watch the horrible things, listen to the da-da-da. But, you know, rise yourself up and be the best you can be. Know what that is.
Well, I can see how people would be very inspired on your trips to go on them. And I know that COVID has been a challenge for you because you haven't been able to do that.
No, but that's why I wrote my book.
I see.
And that's why I'm writing a script.
Oh, you are.
And that's the next chapter of it.
So did you always write? Did you always write as a younger person, as a teenager?
I've always written for travel magazines. They've asked me to do anecdotes of something around the world. Yeah, I've done that.
But this is pretty bold, Kristina, to just jump in and write this. This reads like a novel.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you.
No, it's beautifully written. I mean,
Yes.
I told you that. I texted you, I think, halfway through. The words are beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I just wondered how it was that you were so facile in that, and did it just come to you, or did you work at it, or tell me how that worked.
Well, I had they always say the bones of the story.
Right.
I had that, and then I kept adding a little bit more, the flesh and the ideas. Things will come to me. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It was a conversation. This is years ago. Conversation that happened to me way back when, in that time. And then I really wanted to say, okay, so the chapters of my life did continue, and there was a lot that happened after that, and it bolstered me into different things to do. Like getting involved with the Human Dolphin Foundation in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
That was something,
That's lovely.
Designing the spa and getting, I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
But none of the parts after knowing me myself and being the adventurer and being who I am, I didn't want to play a Stepford wife or somebody that was not me.
Right.
No.
You wanted to be you.
I wanted to be me,
else.
and I wanted a role for me. And I thought, well, either you have to write something for yourself, but no, my family in England didn't know that this happened to me.
Oh, wow.
No, I was too embarrassed. I had come home to my mum, who had this gorgeous, gorgeous garden, and I'm telling you that I was on holiday with who I was with, and then went off in the desert, and blah, blah, blah. And I actually ended up with typhoid. That's what I had in the Sahara. I had to go struggling through the Sahara with typhoid.
Well, if they didn't know this,
no, but my mum would hear I didn't tell her about typhoid, but I said I was in the Sahara. I told her with who. It was a famous actress. Before I took off. Oh, that's nice, dear. Smell this new rose of mine over here. She didn't want me to leave who she had brought me up to be with, bragging about being an adventurer. No, I had to be the person she wanted me to be.
Which was?
Well, upstanding British woman with a good career. And my mom was like the Queen of England. She was very strict. She'd always walk around.
Well, after all,
excuse me, dear. She was a historian, and she worked in a cathedral in Exeter in England. And she was an amazing, she knew from the year dot all the kings and queens of England. I just had to be a proud British person, not some stupid wrangly adventurer like Bear Grylls.
Wow. Well, you've overcome a lot.
Yes, I have.
So if they didn't know about this, and you've now written a book, which is published and it's out there, and you're doing all this media all over the country, now what? You had to tell them, right?
Well, there's the expression about being gobsmacked.
Yeah.
My brother in England, oh my, Chris, no. I said, well, truly, it did happen to me. And the rest of them, I have an older brother near my age and a younger brother who's been on many of my trips. And he loves the book. He knew I'm his godmother to his children, the godmother. We're very, very close, he and his wife and the children and I. Anyway, he knew I would have done such a thing because he's seen me on all these trips. But my other brother is he just believes in himself. He doesn't, so whatever. He's a great guy, but still. He's never told me he's accepted it.
Interesting. No. Well, it is shocking.
Yes.
I mean, it is rather shocking if you think about it, that this beautiful 20-year-old went traipsing across the Sahara Desert. I have to tell you, if my daughter had done that and I had known that at the time, I'd have been on the next plane over there to drag you out of there.
You're right.
I would have been terrified.
Right. Well, it's not until I got out of the hospital in Paris, because I got back and I got home, did they... I was fine then. And I didn't get a lot of, sun. I mean, the kaffir was pushed over here, so it wasn't really burning my skin. But interestingly enough, the brother that had those opinions, his wife loves my story. She loves the writing. So they had a bit of a
Oh,
conflicts
interesting.
with this, interestingly enough, yeah.
Well, let's flash forward to you now and all the things. What would be your perfect day now?
Perfect day? Well, getting up, stretching, drinking my green drink, hiking the hill with
Wait,
you.
you have to give us the recipe of the green drink. Just tell us what's in it any given day.
Well, actually, there is a company called Greens First. That's a good one. I can really recommend that.
Do you blend a green drink?
Sometimes, but if I don't have the time, that I just scoop it out of that, mix it in a large glass of water, mix it up and slump it down, and don't have any coffee or anything for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. And it just is great for you to have alkaline first thing in the morning, see?
Interesting.
Yeah, and then if you ever have coffee, only have organic coffee.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's really sprayed. It's nasty. It's not good. And organic, green tea, things like this. And because where we live, we have to have a lot of water, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we
do.
really see it when we go and come back.
Yes. Yes.
But no, my perfect day. Well, the summer is just getting out into nature.
Of course.
So that's a big deal. And I have been working on the script. I've got my screen, my computer. I've got my book on one side and final draft on the other. That's the screenwriting program.
Interesting.
And of course, I have more pages in the book. I can't have so many pages in the screenplay. I think around 120. And I've heard from producer friends, don't have anybody else write it. You write it. You write well. And you've got the mission of the message in there.
So it's really, you're walking through this project with strength and purpose.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love this. I love this so much because I think what you've done from my observation since I first knew you really 30 years ago in a very disconnected way.
Yes.
That you've reinvented yourself.
I have.
And this is, to write a book, you got a book.
Yes.
And it's very good. But then to write a screenplay and write dialogue is an entirely different thing. So that's sort of a reinvention. And I think that you and I and the women who have been on this show all, I think, are aware that we need to continue to do that.
Yes.
There's something instinctive about growth.
Yes.
And I talk about it a lot because I think if you're not growing, if you're not stepping into a little bit of fear, right?
Well, there's my quote.
Tell me your quote.
Be bold and believe you will achieve.
Easy.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. And the thing is, too, I think I have a lot of phrases that are sort of British in here. Because I know when I first arrived in America, people say, what do you mean?
What are you
talking
talking
about? But it's a British phrase. And the thing is, I, because of what happened, because I was saved in the Sahara, because all these experiences around the world and things I've done, which have been so incredible, and everybody's had the most fabulous time. I swear to God, nobody has been hurt. No one. No one's even hurt their ankle, nothing. And all these trips and all these adventures and all these incredible things. And we haven't just done a little loppy hike. We've done some fabulous hikes.
Well, Machu Picchu. And have you done Kilimanjaro?
Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya.
Oh, yeah. Mount Kenya is my favorite, actually.
Really?
Not Kili.
Not Kili. Kili's not, I hear that's not that beautiful. But
it's kind of, Mount Kenya's prettier. I know, I like it. So anyway, there's a lot of different things. And so, look, I have felt, honestly, that I want to be an ambassador to a good cause, to God, to say yes to your precious life, open your heart, let him in, be inspired, be protected, be guided. Be, all of it. And it's really great. It's not religion. There's a huge energy there, which is for you, if you will open your heart.
Well, I'll tell you, on that note, I think we're done here. I don't know how you could add to that. Thank you so much for coming today and doing this.
This was wonderful. I'm thrilled.
Well, I'm thrilled too. It's quite inspiring, and I think your boldness in stepping into this new you is exceptional. I mean, I don't know too many people who would be brave enough to first even write a book, secondly write a screenplay, and but I guess after you've climbed the mountains you've climbed, this is just a little bit of a hill.
It is, no question. Yes, thank you. Oh.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and also that little bell icon next to it. That way you'll get notifications when a new episode drops. And I'd love it if you'd follow me at Inside Aspen on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and then the website's InsideAspen.com. I'm Ann Abernethy. See you next time.